Okay, now let's add a page, payments page there. So in the presentation, let's add payment underscore page. Have a stateless widget here, payment page, and let's introduce scaffold. So let's go here in the app bar again. We will have the same app bar. Let's copy till this point and let's repeat ourselves. Okay, so this is how it looks like, and safe area in the child, it requires a child. Great, let's format this. Fine, so we have payment. Let's remove this because it will cause errors. Go to auto router and declare another page which will be payment page, and just save this file so that the build runner will run, and we will come back to booking page, and the press of this function we have to navigate to payments, right? So we will open now. See, now this is a booking feature, correct? From booking we are going to payment methods, so we should have a separate navigation. So let's duplicate this one with a new name, booking navigation, and here everything will be same, just that it will be the function will be different here, and we will have different navigations. So for example, open payments, right? And it doesn't need anything as of now. Let's keep it simple, and when we click on that, it will be a payment route. That's it, const here. Okay, and we can delete this function which is not relevant to booking. Now we go back to our booking page and we can call get it, give me the instance of booking notification, booking navigation, and you see we have to regenerate because booking navigation is recently created with lazy singleton, so it will be regenerated and put in the DI. Then we will say, hey, open payments, right? And that's it, we are done with the navigation. Let's restart the application and see if that works. So we'll go here, then we will book, and then we will say proceed to payment, and that's good, right? We have a payment page here. Now let's add safe area and add some child to it. So first will be our form. The child will be form. So we will be creating multiple text fields here, and inside that we can have a child, because again there will be a button, so we need a stack, and the last button will be positioned button. Okay, and the text will be pay. Okay, and we will navigate to success screen or something else. Okay, now let's design the form. So inside this we will again have a column. Now as first thing, let's create a common text form field where we will code our common functionality of a text form field. So let's create another stateless widget. This will be named as field, because this will be repeated multiple times, so I am preferring to create a common field itself, and this will say it will have a label text and it will have a hint text. So let's define label text and let's define hint text. Okay, then we will use text form field here. So the text form fields first thing will be decoration, because everybody has its every text field or every app has its own design for text fields, and that's the highlight of most of the applications. So we will be having a bordered text field with some color, the border color. So for that we will have outline input border, and inside that we will give a border side. So border side is used to give color or width to your border, and then you can say colors dot black 26 here, and then border radius as well, we can give border radius, again similar thing that we are using in the whole application. When it will be in focus, then we will have a different border. that would be simple outline input border. We will copy this. So by default it is 4. We have overridden it with 8. Color by default is black, so that's why we won't be if you go here in the border side, the color is black, so we won't be giving it any color. So when the field is in focus, it will have a black color, otherwise it will have black 26 color. Okay, now the label text will be something which will be shown as a label when the field is in focus. Okay, then the hint text would be the hint that would be shown when it's not in focus. Okay, we have to give styles also to these. So let's say theme and then copy with. So this is hint style and label style. Why I am giving them same style? So the only reason is when we click on this, when we click on the field, the hint becomes label, and we don't want that their color changes, right? So that's why we are doing this. So let's add these two fields here. So now what happens in payment page, we have this field and we should be giving some values to it. So our first field is card number. So this is our field. Then below this field we will have a sized box. Let's see the output of this first. Great, so this is our output. Why not let's give some padding to our column. Great, so now when I click on card number, it's in focus and I see a hint coming on the same thing, right? I think we can have black color for card number. It looks like it's very very opaque, it's not clearly visible. So yeah, this looks better. So we have this card number, and now we will have a const sized box here with height of 16, and so this will be the gap between the field, and next thing would be a row. On the left hand side, for the first item we will have expiry date. So let's use field here again. We will format it and then we will repeat this for another field, and that field would be CVV. Now see, CVV is a obscure text, right? So next field that we want to give to this is that is it obscure? So let's say yes, it's obscure text, and we say true. So for this thing we will have to go back to field and declare another variable which is bool and obscure text. This is obviously a non-required field, but the default value will be false because other fields may not require, and there are not many fields which are obscure, right? So what is the problem here? Okay, the constructor is being okay. Let's leave it here and allow it to add its own, and here as well. Let's see how it looks like. Hotels was rejected, no issues. We will come back to this page again. Clicking this. Great, so this is the page, it's not reloading because input director, which is typically created by text, cannot have an unbounded width. Great, field has unbounded width, so let's wrap this with expanded. So we tell them whatever space is remaining, take that, okay, and don't feel that we have not given you some width. Let's do that. Now these two are touching each other, so let's copy this sized box and put it in between, but not with height, of course with width, and yeah, remove this and have it like this. So it's good. I click on expiry date and it looks like this. I click on CBB. Now the problem is expiry date is black and nobody would like to click it. So I think we should go back here and put it black 26. We can't we can't confuse user, right? So if I put 789, it's not obscure, right? We have not used that flag here, so let's put it here. So basically this is also a boolean. If I supply this, and now expiry date is obviously not obscure, but CVV is obscure, right? So this is the difference between when you want to hide the fields. Below that we will have another field. So let's come to this column and let's add the size box again here, and let's add another field which will have label text as name and hint text as enter your name. Fine, and this would give me a nice field to enter my name as well here. Great, so looks good. Now we want that these values should be filled unless and when if they are not filled, then pay button should not be visible. Basically validations, right? We want to add some validations here. So how can we add those validations? First of all, we need to have form key. Make this stateful widget and declare a form key. And there is this global key where we have form state, and we are creating this form key. And now we will assign this form key to our form here. Okay. Next is after the form key we will have a function, a variable is form valid equals to false. So initially we will say the form is not valid. Then we will create some functions like and validate other things. Basically we will check for emptiness, whether these fields are empty or not. So let's say it will take a value, okay, and we will say if this value is not equal to null and value is empty, then in that case return a message that says please enter card number, otherwise return null. So basically validate card number just tells you that if your card number is not valid, basically if it's empty, you return a message, and if it is null you return this null. Now where we can apply this validate card number? So basically go back to your field, this field, and apply here. So let's say validator, let's say there will be a validator that will give you a value, the latest value of that, and then you will call this validate card number function with that validator. So now that we have this validator, why not let's create a validator field here in the field widget. Okay, and for that we need to declare it as like this. So basically this is the exact type of that function that we created, right? And all our validators will almost look like this. So I have added this validator. All of these will give errors because they are now jealous because I have not given validator to them. So let's, for the POC sort of thing, let's comment these and just work with this. Okay, a value of, okay, it's constant problem. Fine, I will just do this. And what is this value? It will be underscore value here. Okay, I have given this. I will reload because we have converted from stateless to stateful. Of course there is some state created, that's why it's better to have it reloaded, restarted. So when I click on proceed to payment, and if I click here on the pay button, it says, oh, it doesn't say anything because we might not have called validate function. So then you need to actually write another function which will return bool, and we will say validate. Okay, and this will check whether form key's current state is validated or not. Okay, and by default, of course, consider the wrong scenarios. Validation is success, then you can return true. Then you can return true. Okay, otherwise you can return false. And this validate function you must be calling when we press the pay button. Okay, so let's go to this one and let's call this first of all, and let's see the results. So now if I press pay, nothing is happening again, because maybe this validate function is not being assigned, or maybe it needs rebuilding because it is checking with the state, and it's a stateful class. So let's go here again. Okay, nothing happening. Great. So we did many things great, but we forgot to add validator here. So we need to invoke this validator also. Basically we passed it, but we never used it. So how this field will be validated? That's the basic question and basic mistake that we did. So that I did, sorry. And now we can click on this and we can proceed. And now when I click, we see this error. Please enter card number. Now this means that if I enter one card number, it would proceed, right? There is no error will go on. So we can do that if this button, we can also hide this button, or we can also disable this button based on this value the validate returns, right? So we can also do one thing. We can say on changed. So whenever the form is on changed, we can call this function on validate. Okay, we can whenever the form value is changed, we can say on changed validate function should be called, and based on that you do this stuff, that you calculate, you check whether the form is valid or not. So let's print a statement here. Let's print a statement true here. Okay, and let's print another statement false here. Great. Now we will run this. Okay, we have loaded it. Now let's uncomment. Oh, no, not uncomment. When I press this, obviously nothing is happening. Let's do one thing. Let's add other functions also back, because I want to show you that if you change one field, then the validation triggers, right? So on validate card number, remove the const first, because our validation or let's say validate emptiness. Okay, let's say this, and let's rename everything here. Apply all the same validators to every field. Okay, that would be faster. Let's apply all the validators, and let's generate const for everything in the code, otherwise it will keep on giving problems. Okay, fine, great. Any other errors? No. Fine. Now let's run it and we will see 4 fields. Now we give one field. See, this is what I wanted to tell you. As soon as you change one field, your errors will go off, and then you will also see false here. Once I press 1, it's true because the form is now valid. So basically what we can do is, whenever this validate function is returning true, what we can do is we can set isFormValid to true. Correct. And we can either use value listenable or using set state. Because see, set state using here is not a harm, because all the fields are getting refreshed, right? Say this, there will be a variable enabled. Okay, and let's say isFormValid will be passed to it. Fine. So inside this position button, we will say whenever this flag is true or false, we will say that okay, it's disabled, it's not disabled. So we will also see some material styles now in this video. Okay, so inside this position button, we will declare a variable called bool is enabled, and then we will say not required, obviously, is enabled equals to true. Obviously it will always be enabled, just in this form cases we want it to be disabled. Let's use this. If it's enabled, basically let's go to on pressed, and if it is enabled, then call this function, otherwise null. Okay, and is enabled is the variable. Great. Now head on to payment page. Back is form valid. Okay, this value is form valid can be inside a value notifier, as I said, or it can be a set state value. So let's have this value inside a value notifier. Okay, late value notifier, sorry, this form validation notifier will again be initialized first of all in the init state function. So initially we will say false. Fine, and then in the dispose we will be disposing this form. Then here in the validate function, instead of returning true, we will be saying form validation notifier dot value is equals to true. Fine, and here we will of course be returning, because otherwise the next statement will also be invoked. Okay, and here we will be saying false and return. That's it. Fine, I think return is not required here. Okay, now we can have two things. Either our whole page goes into value notifier, or we say we return bool from here. So in terms of refresh, anyway form is going to be refreshed, so why not let's wrap this stack in value value listenable builder, and inside this value listenable, and we'll say it's form valid notifier. There will be a builder, same stuff, is valid, and then this. Inside this we will return a widget, and that widget will be stack. So let's copy it till here, remove everything, and done. Enabled will have is valid value here, and why it's okay, it's is enabled flag. So we need to use is valid value in form as well. Oh, sorry. I think we need to move form inside this. So let's wrap this in form widget and use these two things from there, put it here and remove this form. So what this function will do, this function will change the value of notifier, which will again rebuild this form itself and the button. So let's reload it. Obviously we are assigning something in state and we are in stateless widget, so reload will not work, just a restart will work. And we'll go here now as oh, it's enabled by default. How is this possible? Okay, so it is false, so the first value that goes in is false. Let's change this value. There are errors, it's not reflecting, I don't know why. Oh, seriously, yeah, we didn't change any colors, but you can see the press is not happening. So our code is working, but it's not visually appealing, right? So we forgot to change the color of this. So let's go to background color in the button, and if it is enabled, then let it be black. Otherwise, just copy this. Okay, just copy this and then have gray. Okay, so now it's gray, you can't click on it, and you know that you can't click on it. So once you enter all these values, you have this enabled, right? Now I think I should teach you the other way also to have this background color, because I have worked on it before. So why not let's teach it. Material state property dot resolve with, and this gives us a callback of a function. So basically it has a states, right? Now what we can do is states. So what simple is that this is a function and it will hold different states, right? If states dot contains, I think it would be what we call that material state property. It should have these type of properties like in a disabled or focus, hover on, something like that. Material state, yeah, this is that variable. So material state dot, yes, disabled. Okay, if it is disabled, then the color would be colors dot black 87, return 87. Otherwise return colors dot if it's disabled, return gray, otherwise black 87. Fine, let's see if this works. I have just tried it for the sake of explaining, because I knew I've worked on this before, but not for this tutorial. But this is the introduction that was given to us with when there was material state property was introduced. So I go to here and yeah, it works pretty well. So the bottom line is this gives us a one way to change the colors based on the different states. So later I can write a switch statement, and probably I can say states dot first, and then I can say it will give me write all the missing clauses, and I can handle all these states later on, right? So that's what is the beauty of this thing. It will help you in writing all the different colors or different properties for different states of material. Okay, now what should we do? We should just click on this pay and go to the status page. So let's quickly create a status page, and that would be the last screen in this course. I think I have taught you so many things in this course, and you can apply these things in your projects. The status would be, let's say, bool is success. Okay, and let's bring this here. I'm not showing you form validations. If you want, I will create a separate tutorial, and that would be intermediate one. Okay, so going back here, we don't have any app bar in the success and the status page. You don't have any status bar in the success in the status page. So we will just have a scaffold, and then as a child we have as a body we have safe area, of course, because there will be a button again. So now you will also understand some other things in the stack. So let's say false, and the child would be a stack. Now before we proceed, let's add a position. Before that, let me just remove the body as well, so that I can show you the differences on the go. So let's declare this in the app router. And we forgot to do one thing, which is really bad on our part. Payment page should be written here, because we are exporting through booking, right? So we should have status page from here, and in the app router we should not be having these different types of import statements. It should be one statement that should be telling us that, hey, take it from this booking.dart and not from others. So this is the benefit. We have only one import statement. So auto route will now generate it properly. It's gonna generate for us. Great. from the payment page and in the navigation as well, we will have to add another function, open status, and then we say status route, and here whatever is coming is success. We will just pass it to this page, and we'll go to payment page and we will call open status and let's say true. Fine. We'll not make any API call, so let's go to status page, and now when I run the app, I think I have to restart the app because we have added a new route to the application, so material app needs to be reloaded, right? So let's click on this and go to book, go to proceed to payment and enter some values, some fake values, and pay. Fine, we are in a fresh page. Now we will in the stack at the bottom we will have this button, position button, and the text will be, I think the text should be simple, back to main. Okay, and then on the press of this function I will say back to booking is the function for this, and get it will tell me booking navigation, hey, take me back to booking. Okay, and this is the function, right? So let's create another function here in the navigator, and this will be back to booking, which won't require this, but now we will use until, pop until. So this we are telling that we want to pop until, and this will give us route. So we want to compare until the name of this route is equals to event detail route. Okay, so from where we got this? We got this from the generated app router file. So if you see, the name is automatically generated for this event detail route, and the name is event detail route. So it's generated and we want to go to detail page once the booking has been done, right? So from status page we will go to that page. Let's test that out. Let's test that out. There is a back to main function, and I will say click, and we go to the event detail page. Now again we can go to booking and book again, go back here, go forward here, and then come back to main, right? So this is the functionality which brings us back to, and there is no stack remaining. So all the unwanted pages are cleared off from the stack, like the booking page, like the payment page, they are cleared. Only the status page was remaining, and when we did pop until booking, back to event details, we went to event details. So let's rename also this one back to event details. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, so now we have this, but where is the status? So let's do the status part very quickly. It won't take much time now. Position widget we will use, and we'll say that from top, let's say 0, from bottom as well 0, and from left we want 32 margin, from right we want 32 margin. So what this does is this will create a position widget starting from top, going till the bottom of the screen, but starting from here and going till here. So assume a rectangle is starting from here and going till here. Okay, now whatever we place inside this will be placed in this region. Okay, so inside this, let's first place a container that would be of width 80. So we want to show a circle, and in that circle a right mark or a cross mark will be shown. Okay, So we will use a box decoration for that circle, and we will say the shape is a circle here. Great. And color of that will be if it's valid, basically is what is that variable name is success. So if it's a success, we say color will be green accent, or if it's failure, we will say it would be colors dot red accent. Accent adds accent colors are more better to eyes. They are not much bright, so the icon would be check rounded. Check rounded. If it's if it's success, then it would be check rounded. So let's add that to is success, then it's check rounded, otherwise it's cross. Is there something like cross, or there is close? Okay, close rounded. Great. So that's it. If it's success, show this, then the const will not be there. And let's run it. So we have this green circle nicely sitting on top. So let's add main axis alignment to this. Main axis alignment by default is top. So let's say center would be our choice, and this is the tick mark here. And when we set false here, we go back to main, again booking, and then this one. So we have a red icon here, right? Now we can also do one thing. We can because we used column, we can go back to status page, and below this container we can have a text widget. Of course we will have a size box here, and that will have some height, and we will display some text there. So the text would be is success. So this is almost done. Now we just need to define these two variables. Let's define them here. So it's const success text equals to something. So let's say you successfully paid for your purchase. For your purchase, we are waiting for you at the event. Great, that's such a nice gesture. So let's copy this and create another variable for failure. And reload, and we see this, and that's not good. So let's align, let's add text align to be center, which makes it perfect. Similarly, if we have a success response that we will show here, let me just go to payment page and change it to true, reload it, enter something, pay, and it's success. So this is the end of the chapter and end of the course. I hope you enjoyed this course, and this course helped you become better programmer by 1% at least. You can leave any type of feedback in the comments for this video or previous videos, because for me any feedback is good feedback. So thanks for watching again, and looking forward for your response.